Hey, boys and girls, today we're going to talk about how we know when we're looking at an analog clock which hour we are talking about whenever the shorthand is in between two numbers on the clock. So if you actually look at the clock that's on my screen, you will see that my shorthand, the hour hand, is in between 5 and 6. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Well, what in the world, what time is it? Is it 5 something? Is it 6 something? I'm going to teach you a way for you to remember. Let's take a look at this clock that you see now. This clock is divided up into 12 different sections. Every hour has its own home, okay? So just like you have your own house that you live in, and inside of that house, you have your own space, okay? You have your own bedroom, or maybe you have your own playroom. Every single hour on the clock has its very own space, its own room. So I have a little boy, Noah, and he's in first grade, and he has his very own room. It's painted blue. It's decorated with cars and trucks. He's got a stop light hanging up on the wall. That is his space. If I were to say, Noah, go to your room, clean your room, he would only go to his space, and he would know to clean his space. Just like my husband and I, we have our own bedroom. So if I needed to go put away the clothes in my bedroom, I would only go to that space. If you look at this clock right here, this analog clock, you see that every single hour on the clock has its own space. Look at the hour of 12. If you were to see an hour hand, the short hand, fall anywhere between this 12 and 1, anywhere in these tick marks, that is the 12's room. That is the 12 space that belongs to it. So until that short hand actually gets to 1, it is still in the 12's room. Same thing with this 1 hour right here. If that hour hand lands anywhere between this 12 and 1, it is in the 1's room. Just like some of you have siblings. I had a sister growing up. Her name's Jordan, and she's 3 years younger than me. I did not want her stuff in my room at all. I didn't even want her in my room sometimes, which is kind of ugly, right? But I wanted her to be in her space with her stuff, and I wanted to be in my space with my stuff. So if 12 and 1 are brother and sister, they want to be in their own space. Don't be coming up in my space, 1. Don't you be coming up in my space, 4. No, you stay in your space just like the hours stay in their space. So let's say I had an hour hand and it was between the 6 and the 7. Go right here where you see my mouse moving. If that hour hand was still between the 6 and the 7, you better believe, y'all, that that is in the 6 o'clock hour. It has not crossed over into the 7 o'clock space. So let's look at this clock right here. If I take the hour hand, right here, it's very clearly that hour hand, that short hand is pointing to the 5. That is very easy to understand, y'all, that this right here is 5 o'clock. But if I take my hour hand and I scoot it right here, it's getting real close to 7, isn't it? It is getting real close to 7. But if you look, that hour hand is still in between the 6 and the 7. It has not gotten to the 7 o'clock space. So if we were to go back and look at our color-coded clock right here, you would see that it is still in the 6 o'clock's room, okay? So you know that if that hour hand is not to the next number, it is still in somebody else's room. So this time would actually be 6 because it's not in the 7 o'clock space yet. It's still in our 6 o'clock room. The time would actually be 6:49.